This is the iPhone 16. Just kidding. That's a concept done by a great designer, but hey, we can always dream, right? On a serious note, we've already seen the first set of leaks and rumors about Apple adding its own Gen AI, a completely redesigned screen, a new capture button, and so much more. With these exciting updates, the big question is, should you wait for the iPhone 16 to release later this year or buy the iPhone 15 that's available today? What are we waiting for? Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the display. Apple is rumored to be planning on increasing the size of the displays from the current 6.1 and 6.7 inches to 6.3 and 6.9 inches. That will be the first time in many years that they'll change the size of the screen, and it might not seem like a lot, but it's really going to improve the viewing and reading experience on the iPhone. That's not all though. Apple has apparently also figured out a way to put Face ID under the display, leaving just the camera part of the dynamic island as a circular punch hole cutout that's going to seem familiar to anyone who's used a premium Samsung smartphone. When combined with a bigger display, this will definitely feel like a bigger screen upgrade than the previous years. Second, let's talk about another major design change. After maintaining just 3 buttons on the side of the iPhone for years, Apple added an action button to the Pro models in 2023, and continuing its newfound fascination with adding new buttons, we're expecting a new capture button this year. A dedicated capture button that apparently instantly helps you capture video on the iPhone. It's likely to be located conveniently below the power button, but I really thought this was one of those unfounded rumors, but it's getting reported with so many sources that it seems to be reasonably credible. Well, as credible as you can get 9 months in advance of the phone's release. But it does seem like a bit of a strange choice, given they have a camera button on the home screen and an action button that can easily be configured for video. It's a bit strange adding a dedicated button for the same thing. Given the original minimalist design aesthetic that Steve Jobs loved, like when he famously challenged the iPhone design team to get rid of the separate on-off button, and loved to talk about having just one button on the iPhone, he must be turning in his grave at the thought of so many new buttons cluttering his beloved iPhone. I haven't seen Apple do too many nonsensical things in the last few years. Okay, just a few, like this priceless design choice to change its magic mouse that needed you to keep it upside down whilst charging it, or this AirPods Max case which neither looks good nor really protects the headphones. Okay, I can go on and on, so I take it back, they do make a few questionable design choices from time to time, but mostly they make good ones. So I suspect that there's more to this than meets the eye, and if I take a good guess looking at the intent they showed with the iPhone 15 Pro, by adding the ability to capture spatial video to work with their new $3,500 Apple Vision Pro mixed reality headset, and no, that isn't a typo, it will really cost you $3,500, so get ready to sell both your kidneys! This button might have something to do with the way that they will make the two products work seamlessly together for pro users. Third, let's talk about another big design change, the haptic buttons. On the iPhone 16, Apple is rumored to change the buttons from the ones that physically move, like the ones we have today, to haptic buttons that make you feel like you're pressing them, but you're actually just pressing on solid state, giving you the right tactile feel and the feedback. This won't be the first time Apple did this. It did this in 2007 with the home button that you'll remember on the iPhone 7, which actually didn't move, and on the AirPods Pro. Fourth, and this is something I've been personally wishing for, is your support. I'm kidding, it's the battery, but I just wanted to say before I talk about the battery that if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a like and tell me what you think in the comments, and a subscribe to the channel would mean so much to me. I stay up late at night making these videos, and I'm working really hard to get to 5,000 subscribers by the spring, and I can't thank you enough for your motivation and support to keep this going. Okay, back to the battery. The thing that I've been wishing and asking for so long, so I don't have to keep recommending the bigger phones because of it, is the battery. The iPhone traditionally has had what Apple loves to call an all-day battery, which is technically true, but realistically a bit deceptive. What I mean by this is that whilst it does last a day when you buy it, it starts to run out before the end of the day within a year or a bit more. And if you can't trust your phone to last the whole day, you tend to start making battery saving compromises like limiting video calls or watching less content or taking less videos, and that should not be a compromise you have to make for $1,000 a pound phone. This is why I always recommend the bigger ones, which have a battery that lasts well into day 2 or 3 in the beginning and still lasts you the full day in a year or two. I've been wishing for a better battery on the base model iPhones for a while now, and it looks like Apple might add a stacked battery which maximizes the amount of battery you can cram into that space, something which they've done very well before with the MacBooks, and they're also going to try and change the casing to reduce the thermal loss and overheating. And finally, fifth, the most exciting feature, which honestly I think is just the first set of leaks and is something Apple has been quietly plotting from the sidelines for a while now, whilst OpenAI and Google and Microsoft made huge announcements in 2023 about Gen AI. We are seeing some reports that Apple is massively improving the microphones on the iPhone 16 to allow for conversations with Siri's AI, which could be their stride into Gen AI. The rumor mill says that Apple is training Siri on a large language model, or LLM, just like ChatGPT and Gemini, to start with some of the obvious use cases like suggesting completions to your text messages when you're typing, or assisted writing with Pages, or assisted PPTs on Keynote, just like Microsoft's Copilot does. Given this is reported by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, I'd say this is pretty solid as a leak, and we should expect this from Apple in 2024, especially since they're spending a reported $1 billion on AI research as we speak. There's also the standard leaks on new colors and an improved camera, which we've come to expect as par for the course, so I won't go into those in detail. So what does this mean for those of you who are deciding to buy an iPhone 15 now or wait for the iPhone 16 later this year? Well, I'd say that it depends on what you're upgrading from and how urgent your need is. If you're upgrading from an iPhone 13 or 14, the 15 may not seem like that much of an upgrade for you. The camera is going to feel like a slight bump. The action button isn't as big a deal as they made it out to be. And USB-C is good, but you likely have other Apple products that still need lightning, and you won't be able to throw your lightning cables away just yet. So given the major design updates on the 16, you might want to wait a bit later in the year and upgrade to either the 16, or if it's disappointing, then upgrade to the 15 but at a discounted price. But if you're upgrading from an iPhone 12 or below, you'll need an iPhone right now. I'd say the 15 will be a pretty good bump with the dynamic island and the better screen and the smaller bezels and the much improved camera and all the other features. It'll be money well spent. I'd go one step further and say that the iPhone 15 Plus is the best of the four options you have right now, and an even better deal than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And if you're wondering why, click right here to understand why the iPhone 15 Plus is actually better than the Pro Max. See you in a minute.